Hey friends, Donna Amidon here, and we are in the middle of a series called Come and See, how your story can lead others to faith. And in the studio, we have a treat. It is Mark Geist with us, and we're going to hear about Mark and what he's teaching. And let's just dive right in. Mark, you are a spiritual fitness coach. We love your teaching. You're very much an athlete. A lot of roles in your life, in addition to being a spiritual fitness coach. Tell us about what you do.
Sure. So a lot of the things that I do in my life, Donna, kind of bleed into some of the other things. So my full-time job, I'm the director of operations for a third-party logistics company. That's just fancy talk for I'm in charge of making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
And I do that, and that is a very taxing job mentally, but also physically. So I'm walking around. I usually walk about 10K every day, roughly.
Wow.
Just in the warehouse during the course of my job. If I'm lucky, I get to ride around on a scooter or something, but that's about it. So I have to be very physically active, so I have to be physically fit. And one of my other jobs, part-time job, is a CrossFit coach.
Okay.
So I coach fitness. I basically teach people how to take care of their bodies. So we talk about nutrition some, but mostly I go over physical movements that they can do with their bodies to keep them healthy as well. I'm also a veteran of the United States Army.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you for your support. I think that has been 2006, so it's been almost 20 years since I served. So I got out a long time ago. I actually, I was a reservist, and then I got married. And then 6 weeks after I got married, they called me up and they took me away from my wife, my brand new wife, for almost the full first year of our marriage, and she never forgave them for it. So she didn't let me stay in.
Well, you know, I hear that first year of marriage can be tough, so maybe
that's the one you should be around for, right? Yeah. So those are the main things that I've done.
And I hear you deadlift a little bit too?
I do. CrossFit has a lot of different movements, and so I like powerlifting. Powerlifting is like a bench press, a back squat, a deadlift. So I just this weekend did a competition where I did a lot of strongman lifting things and deadlifting, stuff like that. So it was fun.
That sounds not fun.
It's fun for everyone if you get used to it and you know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, as you know, there are connections between physical training and spiritual training, and you talk a lot about that. Can you just give us a little taste of your heart for that?
Yeah, I love it because Paul is so great because he messes things up so badly in his life. He's just like Peter, just like, oh, what a goof. He's doing everything wrong. And it's just like us, right? So Paul, all the wrong things he was doing in his life, and he had that experience that it changed him, right?
Yes.
And he is the one who talks about the parallels between physical fitness and the importance of physical fitness even, and spiritual fitness. So the fact that the Apostle Paul addresses that, it's already going to be important. But I see it all the time where a lot of the videos that I do or that I'll be a spiritual coach on for people it's just a simple concept usually that I'm trying to present, like, hey, get your reps in maybe, right? Sure. So in the gym, if you just kind of show up and you're there, but you don't really do anything, it's just like going to church and not listening and you're not doing anything at all. You're not getting involved. Or if you go to the gym and you go to an athletic competition. So if you're like, I don't know CrossFit, but I say, come and check out a competition, at least watch. You would watch and maybe like cheer along, and you could get into the spirit of it and get involved with the community there. That could be paralleled in a church too. Maybe you do like singing, and so you'll sing for the praise and worship part, or fellowship, and you'll drink coffee with people and you'll talk to them and things like that. It's still all good, but it's not the meat of what you need to be focusing on, which is the Bible, getting your reps, getting into the Word of God daily. And so I can see the effects when I work out, and I work out almost every day. I usually take 1 or 2 rest days a week, but I work out almost every day, and I will see the effects of that in my body and in my daily life. And the daily things I do are easier because I'm more physically fit. And I see the exact same parallels spiritually as well. So I like comparing that a lot of times because it works so well.
What perfect comparisons. And as you said, the Apostle Paul did it. I think we can make that comparison.
Yes.
Dude, I'm thinking also of James that says, don't be just a hearer of the word, deceiving yourselves, but be a doer of the word too. Yeah, I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're sharing in the Come and See series, and that is the life of Daniel. very much living boldly for his faith. What are some things that really spoke to you as you prepared for it and teach it?
So when I was teaching about Daniel, I was mostly focusing on the after effects of his amazing faith that I look at and say, I don't know if I could ever do that, but I don't know if I could ever walk on the water like Peter did briefly or whatever. And then it shows you, well, Peter didn't the whole time, and when he took his eyes off, here's what happened. But Daniel stood firm in his faith and lasted through an impossible situation. That can happen in your life too. It is the most encouraging thing after to say, okay, what was the ripple effect of that, right?
Yes.
And Darius was a king that he was not a king that this has happened before in the Old Testament. Look, that they had their hearts hardened, right? That they're like, no, and I don't believe and I don't care. No, he was one who had his heart opened, and he saw it and he said, there's no denying this. This is not a thing that has ever happened or could logically happen. The only explanation is that Daniel's God is the real God. This is a real deal. And I just like to think, how many people did that affect? How many people did that influence? And in our lives as Christians, what are the ripple effects that we've had? You know, I love to think about that and seeing an actual historical example of that in Daniel's life and the King Darius, and saying, hey, I bet Daniel didn't even think of that. He said, nope, I'm standing firm and the one true God will protect me. He got thrown in with the lions and he survived. I bet Daniel didn't think, now there's going to be that little person off in that province, miles away that gets a decree from the king that says this thing and they'll serve God. He wasn't thinking of anything like that. He was thinking of what God told him. God doesn't demand sacrifice. He demands obedience. And when Daniel obeyed, that ripple effect was huge.
Absolutely, and we're talking about it thousands of years later, which shows that it truly has rippled into our age, so that's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mark, for coming on and sharing, and thank you for your ministry here. We appreciate it. Friends, we have enjoyed this series so far. I hope you're enjoying it, too. Thank you for watching, and we want to let you know in our next episode, we're going to hear from another spiritual fitness coach, Lydia Robertson, who is going to share the story of the shepherds. These were ordinary men, very ordinary, who received an extraordinary news about Christ's birth. Don't miss it, friends. We'll see you then.